Hey, welcome to the Dan Miller Show. Yo, Bills Mafia, it's going on. And real Buffalo Bills. We'll talk, no filters. Today we're going to break down the Bills roster. Uh, so, with the Bills roster and everything. So, stay tuned and listen to the Dan Miller Show. All right. Um, Bills roster, as we know, with the quarterbacks and everything, we know who 1 and 2 is going to be. I mean, Kyle Allen could be the backup, which he is going to be, unless Shane Bouchel beats out or anybody else for that position and everything. But Josh Allen, we know. We got Josh Allen. It's going to be great. You know, I was, listening to this YouTube, the Ralph rant. He was talking about the trade that happened, a while ago with, the Rams and Cleveland Brown, Miles Garrett, and everything. And to me, that's, crazy that, like, oh, we didn't want to give up draft capital for that and everything. And that's ridiculous. That is how you win championships. That's how you get to the Super Bowl. The Rams did it and got Von Miller. And then Von Miller was pretty close to winning MVP. Um, Odell Beckham Jr. probably would have won it if he didn't get hurt in that game. But, he's back in with the Giants. And, they went out and got this guy, Miles Garrett. He is the guy you go and risk everything for. Your number ones, your number twos, your number threes, your number fours. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. Boom. But we didn't have like players to get like, you know, what they get in return, which is named first or whatever. He's still on a rookie deal. And he was third on the list. And the two people right ahead of him, Miles Garrett at number 2, and Marcus Parsons in Dallas or Green Bay now, was in Dallas, in Green Bay, and he was number 1. Miles Garrett was number 2, and he was number 3 from Cleveland. And he's young, this that. They got at least 3 more years with him, and then they can even trade him away and get more assets for him, draft picks and stuff like that. Especially the way he's been playing and everything. First, what's his name? First or whatever. Gurf, whatever. And to get Miles Garrett, we would have probably had to get so and Ether a first and a third 27, and probably a second and a fourth in 2028 to get Miles Garrett. That's a lot. And would they have done that? Maybe. But you're giving up 2 players where they gave up one and number ones and stuff like that. And should we go get Justin Jefferson? Absolutely. You give up assets to give up him. You get up draft capital to get somebody like Justin Jefferson. So I can't agree with somebody that says he didn't want to give up draft capital, draft capital, draft capital. It is full of crap. Give up draft capital. They're probably gonna. It's probably. I mean, the Bills will get there this year. That's my goal, and that's my prediction right now. The Buffalo Bills versus the Los Angeles Rams in the Super Bowl at SoFi Stadium. Rams would be home again. It's their stadium, this and that. And we'll be there in week 5 when we play them. So it's going to be Super Bowl showdown. You know, 2 great quarterbacks, 2 great coaches. Well, Joe Brady, we still don't know, but 2 great coaches, anyways. You know, and all that and everything. Excuse me. And the Buffalo Bills will do that. You know, We got James Cook, Ty Johnson, Ray Davis. We got DJ Moore, Shakir, Coleman, Palmer, Bell, Hartman. Um, these guys that we need on the roster, and you know, we can get like Justin Jefferson. You never know. We can still get him. Hell, people are leaking, stuff on Diggs, and I don't want Diggs on my team. We've been there, done that. So everybody's like, "Oh my God, we're gonna try to get $7." Dude, Deion Dawkins and Diggs, all this, Bills uniform, this and that. We got Terrell Shavers who got injured, but could still, who knows what he'll be on the roster or not. If he'll come back for whatever. I'd rather have Brandon Cooks back on the roster over Diggs right now. And, DJ Moore is your number one. Khalil Shakir is your number two. Question is who's going to be number three? Is it going to be Palmer? Is it going to be Keon Coleman, Skylar Bell, Miko Hardman Jr.? I see him more as a special teams guy. One, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 6 guys here. Are they going to keep all 6 guys? Plus, Bill signed, you know, um, what's that wide receiver? Tompkins, Denver Tompkins, Max Hopkins. Um, they waived Dorian Strong, but with the injury thing, so he'll probably be out for the rest of the year. Either because of his neck or lower body injury. We don't know. We saw him crutches. That was reported. We don't know. Full extended it. They did release the running back, Jashawn Reed, and wide receiver Gabriel Benyard. So they got Tompkins, Max Thompson, Development Tompkins, 2 guys that the Bills signed by receivers wise, anyways. But it's to help out. So think we got 8 wide receivers. Probably how many going to keep? They're going to go 5. They're going to go 6. For the Buffalo Bills and what they're going to do with that, and we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. For that, so for the Buffalo Bills to do that, and I hope that they can do that. We'll see Coleman. He's looking great right now, but he did that last year. Did great in week 1, and then he just disappeared, and we never saw him. Could he make the roster? I don't. He's got a lot to prove, so we'll see when it comes to week 1 if he makes the roster. Get Skylar Bell make the roster, or at least you got to do special teams. If you're gonna keep like 5 or 6 guys, because we also got, if we go 4 wide receivers, DJ Moore, Shakir, Coleman, Palmer, right now. Palmer, he might even get caught and save what 2 point whatever hit of a salary cap of 9 something. If we wait till next year, it'll be better. But then again, who knows what they do? Hell, you could cut Palmer, save $2.5 million, and get Brandon Cooks back here. I'm Brandon Cooks than Joshua Palmer right now, but Palmer is still hurt in his injury and everything, so we don't know what's going on with that and everything. Like Ray Davis wants to be more involved. Like, what do you want? I mean, got Ty Johnson. He was gonna get some touches, especially 3rd downs, and he's gonna run the ball. He's gonna catch it out in the backfield. Cook is probably gonna do that more than Ty Johnson maybe this year. I think last year he had touched the ball. James Cook touched the ball at least 350 something times. So we're gonna have to have, like, what are we talking about, 275 to 325 of touching the ball between receiving and running the ball and everything. DJ Moore, he's gonna obviously be out there. He's gonna be that guy. Shakir probably be the next guy, or Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox. We got Hawes, who, depending on how they're going to use these blocking tight ends, the 11, 12, 13 personnels and stuff like that they're going to do. You know, we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. You know, we got Dawkins, Brown, Governor, or sort of Torrance, Cushenberry, you know, Jackson Eager, he got hurt. You know, I don't know what's going on with that. It's the fullback. Vincent Moore is the other fullback, so we'll have to wait and see what they want to do with the fullbacks. Do they even keep a fullback? They use like a tight end is more like a fullback, like Hawes and stuff, or Knox and himself. Um, so we'll have to wait and see what happens with that and everything. But there's the left tackle battle, so that's going to be interesting when camp does start in July 29th. I know it's a long ways, like 6 weeks away, man. Whew. But we're really wrapping. I mean, hell, last day, what was it, last day of mini camp, everybody showed up. No question marks, no nothing, everything, which is great. Everybody showed up. They might not participate because of injuries, um, but or just need to recover, you know, so like that. But it's probably the injuries, like Dorian Shaw, he would be on pop and stuff like that. Skylar Bell, he practiced, the first day, did practice the second day, but he was out there catching balls and everything. So we don't know what the injury is. We're not going to probably know for until 6 weeks from now, until July. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that and everything. But for the Buffalo Bills, it's that's the way we got to do it and everything. So for defense, you got the Chubb, Bradley Chubb, Russo, T.J. Parker, Ed Oliver, Carter, Sanders, T.J. Sanders, you got Benford, Williams, Julian Dreesen, Caleb Elam Orr, who I'm very interested. D. Williams, I'm interested as well. Um, you know, as linebackers and edge rushers, the the defensive line, how that's going to work and everything for the Buffalo Bills. And I think that's going to be great for them as well. Um, so what would be interesting, Cole Bishop, he has not participated in OTAs or mandatory minicamp. He's been there. He might be injured again. I think he is, and what that looks like, we'll see what happens. But that's what happened last year, and he was really getting it on. He's our guy, Um, C.J. Gardner Johnson, they asked him because he got beat. Players voted as Josh Allen is the best you know trash talker, the best I guess, and C.J. Gardner Johnson is like Josh Allen. He's like he beat me, and then they were trash talking, at mandatory minicamp, and he was close. He knocked the ball down twice and picked him off. I think twice. You know, it was like out of 5 plays, he knocked the ball 2 out of those 5 plays. He did get an interception. I think he got two, and then stuff like that. So it's good that they're going at it like this. So it's going to be very good. Keeps them competitive, fight for that position, fight for your job and this that to make the roster. We got the 90. I think we got 91 roster. The one guy, he's on his last year. I forgot his name. Slipped my mind. Sorry, but he went from offense to defense now. They're gonna try him out there, see what happens and everything. So it's gonna be interesting. Um, we also got Stone as free safety, strong safety. We'll see what happens. We got the corners, Elford, Harrison, and Bedford. Harrison will be a little interesting. What we'll see. The special teams is going to be interesting because we have yet to see Tyler Bass kick, for the Buffalo Bills and everything. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that, and they got two punters, Wisnowski and the guy the Bills drafted, Tommy Newman Jr. He was drafted out of Florida in the 2006 NFL draft, so we'll have to wait and see what happens with that and everything. So, um, please hit and like, subscribe to this channel, rate and review. If you want to make a comment, if there's something you want me to talk about even more that I didn't, I could do that. In the upcoming episode. So please hit and like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.